No, this is not hate video about Godot. I still love Godot. If I was making 2D games, I will stay with Godot. But I want to make 3D games. You know how they are making that beautiful landscapes and games with Unreal? Because Unreal only renders triangles of mesh that are seen. So that means you can pile like 100 meshes to make one rock, and only the triangles that are seen will be rendered. Let me say, for example, you have a rock, and 100 meters of that rock is below the ground, and just 1 meter is on top. Only that 1 meter will be rendered. Only that triangles. In Godot will render the whole mesh. Can you imagine the possibilities what you can make with that approach? You know how they make that beautiful ground in Unreal? They put like 10 meshes one on top of each other, because only triangles that are seen will be rendered. Can you imagine the possibilities what you can make? You can just, if you want to make some beautiful cliff, you can just take like 100 different objects and just put it together. Unfortunately, you cannot do that in Godot. Maybe you will never will. In Godot, I need to track every single triangle in my game and make ultra optimized meshes. I already started learning C++ and Unreal. What's my first impressions about Unreal? It's much faster than I thought. It's not like Godot. Godot can run on hamster wheels power. Unreal needs a little bit of power, and if you put like if you limit frame rates of Unreal like 30 FPS, it will be fine, because Unreal it's like one big game. It's one to run 120 FPS all the time. You can limit. I mean editor, and you can limit that. So when I limit it, it's run perfectly. It's super fast. Working with Unreal, it's not a problem. It's super convenient. But I forget the real trouble on working with Visual Studio and that kinds of stuff. That's the real problem. In Godot, you are blessed. You have GDScript. You have in-engine editor. You just click on script and it's open. It's fast and it's super. I love that. But Visual Studio, I forget the pain working with Visual Studio. First, you need specific version, and when you cannot find, of course, that version because it's Microsoft. You need to pass like 15 checkpoints of data stalling, and then you can barely find some little link that lead to you to exactly Visual Studio that you need. And then, of course, its install time of VS is like 2 hours. I kid you not. I think Visual Studio have a memory leak size of 10 gigabytes, because when you install it and then delete it, you will lose like 10 gigabytes. In Godot, you can just change a little bit of script and just run your game. You cannot do that with Unreal and C++. When you change one letter of any script, you need to compile that code, and that take like a couple of minutes if your game is big enough. C++. I first learned JavaScript, then I learned Python, and then GDScript, and I'm like 3 years in GDScript, and in that years I forget about JavaScript and Python. That is just like how things work in programming, and I'm learning it from Bro Code, and I recommend this channel for you if you want to learn some other programming language and do it like old-fashioned way from beginning. If you know like GDScript and your game in Godot, if you understand it very well, you can learn C++ easy. And working like years with indentations in code, it's really refreshing to do not need to use indentations. That's one plus of it. Because the most complicated things in C++, question is, do we really need it in game development? I think not. So that's my New Year's Eve resolution. Every New Year's Eve I make like a resolution to learn some new other stuff, and I think it's great time right now to start learning Unreal. And I will make in future videos when I think I can learn C++ in 2 weeks, and Unreal I need at least 3-4 months for that. But in meantime I will make videos about comparing Godot and Unreal, because I can say I know ins and outs of 3D in Godot, and I make video comparing to let you know if you want to learn it. So that's everything for this video. Thank you, and subscribe and leave a like and comments.